Hello and welcome to the Ecclesiastical Sewing Studio. My name is Carrie Roberts. I'm the owner and lead designer here at Ecclesiastical Sewing. Today we'd like to offer a special thank you to all of the members of our Ecclesiastical Sewing community. As a way of thanking our community, we are offering a free Pall pattern and workshop class in collaboration with Clara from Clara Stitching. The class will feature a Pall that can be used for your chalice in your communion service, and there'll be the opportunity to take a goldwork class with Clara from Clara Stitching, and the goldwork class will be the opportunity to make this beautiful goldwork Sacred Heart design, and the design is available in gold. It's also available in red, and then Clara had also, from Clara Stitching, had created this beautiful variation that has the beautiful rays and just all of the beautiful goldwork rays on this one. So we have these three different designs that we'll be focusing on today as part of our free class. So to begin with, for the class, we do have a paper pattern that we will be offering as a free digital download for all of our viewers or all of those who would like to take part in the class. And the pattern is tiled, so you can print this on your own printer at home. You'll just simply take piece 1 and piece 2 for the Pall, fold the edge, and then tape these together. And then you can cut the pattern piece out, and you'll be all set to begin cutting on your linen. Okay? Once you've got the pattern piece ready and you get that pinned to your linen, you're going to be cutting out 2 pieces of linen fabric. And the linen will be about an 8-inch square finished size. The linen that we're using today is our Renaissance linen. We do offer this linen through our website. It's 100% linen. It's an Irish linen, and it's got a very beautiful and fine weave to it. And it's a perfect linen for doing either whitework hand embroidery or for doing goldwork embroidery on. Once you've got your 2 linen pieces cut, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to grab, I have a little foam mat that I'm going to use, and I'm going to place my linen on this little puffy foam mat, and then I'm going to grab my quilt ruler, and I also have a Hera. And a Hera is just a little tool. It's got kind of a fine little edge on it. And quilters use this a lot for marking hems when they're doing their quilting. And we found this works really well when you're trying to put the hems up on small linens. It's awfully hard to get a small linen piece to have a narrow hem and have them all be even and so forth. And so we found that a Hera is a nice way, along with a quilt ruler, to make the hems work out well when you're creating small linens. So what I'm going to do is take my linen piece here, place my quilt ruler along the edge of the linen piece, and I'm going to be placing that at the 1/2-inch mark on my ruler. Next, I'm going to take my Hera, and I'm going to run that right along the edge of my ruler and create a little score line on my linen. So then I can move the ruler away, and you can see that we have like a little crease mark on the linen. Okay? And then I'm going to repeat that on all 4 sides of my linen. Okay, there's one. And I line again my ruler up at the 1/2-inch mark. And there's another. And then here's the final little score line that I'm going to do. Okay, now that I've got all of the score lines made on my piece of linen, I'm going to grab the plastic Pall. And this will be included in part of the kit that we'll be offering. The Pall is a piece of plexiglass. It's a 7-inch finished piece. And when you get this, it will have a piece of plastic film on both sides of the plexiglass. And so you want to just take and remove this plastic film on both sides of the plexi. Okay, so after you have your plexiglass all set and you've removed that plastic film on both sides, you're going to place your plexi in the center of your first piece of linen. And then we're going to use these little clips to kind of hold the linen in place. So I'm going to start on one edge of the Pall and get it lined up here with my linen and my hem. And then we're going to put one clip on this side to hold that in place. And then I'm going to go to the opposite side again in the center and just put a little bit of tension on this opposite side and then get this pinned. And then I'll go on the third side and get this pinned. And then I'll go on the fourth side and get this pinned in the center. And I'm doing just a little bit of pulling to get just a little bit of tension on the linen. And so I'm going to kind of flip it over and just check and make sure I look like I'm somewhat square and straight. And if I need to, I can just pull one side or another just a little bit tighter as we're going along. And then I'm going to just keep going a little bit on each side and working out towards the edges. Oops, I'm going to readjust this clip just a little bit to get a little more right here. And then as I get close to the corner here, I'm just going to fold my linen in the same direction that I'm going here and just do a little bit of a finger crease right here to kind of get this just about to the corner. And then I'm going to start going the other direction and continue pinning out going this direction. And get this one pretty close to the corner, and then do the same thing and just give a little bit of a finger crease right there with the linen. And then I'm going to flip and go to the opposite end, and again I'm going to pull just a little bit taut as I'm going here to make sure the linen stays flat and smooth on my pall. And then as I get towards the corner, again I'm going to maybe just adjust here and get just a little bit more down on this side. And then just do a little bit of a finger crease right here at the corner. And then work my way down to this side and kind of do the same thing. And then then I'm going to work along these opposite edges again, pulling kind of tight and pinning in place. Let me grab a few more clips and we're working towards those corners. Okay, so now we've got the sides pretty much pinned in place. And then we have the corners where we've done some creasing with the edges. So what we're going to do next is just take and fold in a little bit of a mitered corner right here. And then we're going to just put a little clip right at each corner for each mitered little corner. So I'm just folding again at a little bit of a 45 angle and then getting that lined up, and then putting a little clip to hold it in place. And then I would continue that with all four corners. And then I can go back and look at each side and just adjust each side to make sure that my hems look a little bit even. And then when that's all set and all of the corners are pinned, you'll end up with your piece looking like this. You'll have all of the sides clipped in place and you'll have your corners clipped in place, and so then it's all ready to go like this. Then once you've got all the corners and everything pinned in place, you'll take your second piece of linen, and you'll have the score lines made in the same places. On this one you might move your score lines in just a little bit further, so it's just the finished piece is a little bit smaller than 7 inches, because we do want that to kind of fit on this back side but not come quite to the edges. So once we've got this second piece all scored and then we've turned the edges in and maybe we've pressed this with our iron, we're going to start pinning this in place, and we'll start at a corner and just pin this at one corner. Then I'm going to go to this opposite end and pin it down here, and then I'll go to the opposite corner over here, pin it in place, and then go to my opposite corner over here and pin it in place. And so now I have all my corners pinned, and then I'm going to go back and then start in the centers and then get my pins in place along each side. And then I'll keep going on this side and pin those all in place. And then we have our linen all pinned in place. We can do just a little bit of adjusting if we need to, if one side is maybe not quite right at the edge as much as we want it to be. So we can pull just perhaps a little bit tighter on this side to get it just a little bit closer to the edge. and just fine tune. There you go. And then what you're going to want to do at this point is flip it over to the front and then look at your front and see if your front of your pall is all smooth or if there's any little bubbles. Now we've got a couple little bubbles right here, so what I would do is just remove a few pins and then just kind of roll down a little bit of linen at the edge here and then just repin and then just make some adjustments until everything is just nice and tight across the front. And then once you have everything like this lined up and you like the way that it looks on the front and everything looks lined up and the front looks nice and taut with the linen on the front, then you're ready for hand sewing on the back. And for the hand sewing, you can just start in the corner along the edge and you'll use a needle and thread. We might use a fine thread like a cotton aerofill or something like that, just a fine white cotton thread, and then you just start along the edge and then just do a little whip stitch and then whip stitch all 4 edges along the edge, and then your pall would be finished. And once you've got the finished pall all done, then it's up to you if you'd like to add a little bit more embellishment to the pall. We will include a little bit of lace, and so you could add a little bit of lace to the pall if you should so choose. The lace that we are including with your pall kit is a nice, beautiful English Cluny lace in white, and it's kind of up to you. If you wanted to sew the lace to the linen before you started making your pall, you certainly could, but that might make it a little bit more challenging to make sure that all of the edges are even and so forth. So I think we're going to just do ours at the end once it's all finished, and so you can just take and use some really fine little silk pins and get the lace along the edge of the pall here. Get it lined up in place, and as you're going along and when you get to the corners, to make the mitered corner, what you'll do is you'll fold the lace back on itself and then fold it into the little miter, and then just keep going around the corner on all 4 sides, and then once you've got it in place on all 4 sides, just go ahead and do another fine little whip stitch along the edge of the lace, attaching that to the linen, and then you'd have just an extra little touch on the edge of your pall. So making a pall is a pretty simple little project, but it's something that can add a lot of beauty to your church and to your worship service. In addition to doing the goldwork project, which we hope you will enjoy, you can also choose a number of other embellishments for your pall. It can be something as simple as an iron-on cross. It could be whitework hand embroidery. It could be machine embroidery. So the palls are really pretty easy to make, and the embellishment is really up to you and what you decide to do with your creativity. We hope you've enjoyed this little project, and we look forward to you joining us with Clara for the goldwork section of this project. And again, we just offer a big thanks to everybody who's part of the ecclesiastical sewing community. We hope this will be a blessing to you and to your home, church, and your worship community. Thank you so much for following along, and have a wonderful day.